The three things that I would like to talk about as it relates to cultivating religious inclusion in the workplace or faith-based inclusion are as follows. First of all, as HR leaders, DEI professionals, as leaders on a whole, I think it's really important that we directly outright name religious inclusion as one of our key pillars to focus on strategically going forward. So the same way in our DEI programming that we would be focusing on gender inclusion or racial ethnocultural inclusion, it's important that we directly name and then strategize around religious inclusion. Because if we do not name it, it's less likely to happen. So that's the first thing. And in 2023, this would be something that I think is extremely important to consider as part of your action plans. The second thing I'm going to offer you is that the importance of doing training. And when I say doing training, I don't mean necessarily here's a lunch and learn on Sikhism, here's a lunch and learn on Islam, Hinduism, Judaism, etc. I'm talking, those types of learning sessions are extremely important. Yes, let's keep doing them. But this is historically what has already happened in workplaces. And we're still in a place where we don't have religious inclusion, where people are still sanitizing, suppressing their faith-based identities in the workplace. I'm talking about specific training on, first of all, naming the fact that historically in workplace cultures, we have drawn a circle around not talking about our religious and faith-based identities in the workplace in fear of having one person push their faith onto another, but that this is old and tired and stale, like a lot of the practices that we've abandoned and left in the past. This too is a practice we should leave behind, and we should shift into a new normative around naming how we will not create cultures of belonging, of authenticity, until people can talk about the importance of their faiths in the workplace. I'm not talking about people trying to evangelize in the workplace. I'm talking about doing trainings around how can you talk about who you are tied back to your faith, your religious identity, without the fear of attracting biases connected to evangelizing or without evangelizing. And so it's actually about learning a skill around how do we talk about our faiths? How do we ask about people's identities in this space? And so training, in my view, is the second most important thing we can do. And then the third thing I'm going to offer you is the tone at the top cascades down, leaders go first. If we want to create cultures that are rooted in belonging, in authenticity around faith-based identities, our religious identities, it's really important that leaders start to talk about who they are and talk more openly about their identities, and that we all do this, to start talking about how important faith is to us and what we're doing as it relates to our faith-based activities as we share. The same way we would talk about my love of sports, or I do not love sports. Let me make it more personal. My love of travel, or my love of watching Netflix, or my love of goat meat. And like, I love goat meat so much, or soca fets or bunga parties. The same way I would reveal those aspects of my identity, as I openly do during sessions with clients, I would talk about how important it is that I went to Gurdwara, which is a Sikh house of worship, or in the Sikh faith, interconnectedness is so important. And so for me, doing DEI work directly ties back to that. And so we openly name these aspects. So these are my 3 steps for you after today.